Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Ketchadori.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special show. With me today is Ana Lennyr. Ana is an incredible lady who is out there helping business owners, family, teenagers, you name it. Ana is on the case. And today we're going to talk about how to master the game of life and business now, not tomorrow, not next year, not putting it off to another time. You want to master the game of life. Why do you want to do that? It's because how you do things today decide how your life is going to shape up in a year, a few months, or however long it will be. So the quicker you master the game of life, the better your life will be. Anna, thank you so much for joining us on the show for the first time. So good to see you.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's incredible. Now, I know, Anna, you have an incredible story to share. Before we dive deep into how you master the game of life, I know you were, you lost your mom at a very young age, at the age of 55, to depression. You yourself had some kind of a difficult time. You suffered from depression for 27 years, and you were suicidal at the age of 19. What a story! And then now, you've been helping people live a healthy lifestyle, literally change lives. How, take us back, to your life story a little bit, and then we dive deep into our subject tonight.
So, like many people, even today, I started my journey of suffering since the age of 7. Then around the age of 14, I developed an S-shaped scoliosis, which made me tremendous back pain. And I couldn't even sit in a chair at school. I had to stand for a year and write on my lap in the back of a classroom. From there, it started with headaches, with migraines, insomnias for 2.5 years. Yes, a suicidal attempt at the age of 19. I went to University of Psychology to save myself, and I wasn't able to. Yes, I lost my mom to depression and alcoholism. And later on, after 38 years of my life, I realized that I was going down the same path of her because I was pre-diabetic, overweight. I had non-alcoholic liver hepatitis, a child depressed, almost 9 years old. And I was just repeating my mother's life of suffering. It's when I decided to change perspective and to change everything, right? And today, this is why I say that master the game of life, because you can master the game of life or master the game of suffering, but you cannot do both.
I love that. The change of perception truly decides where your life's going to go. And you can do both. You can master the game of suffering and master the game of life at the same time. Those are two powerful statements right there. Please carry on.
Yes. So today, because I was in a journey where I had seen suffering at each level of my life, right? As a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, as a parent of a child depressed, right? As I saw that suffering, I figured out ways that at each level, whoever comes to me at each level of their life, we can snap them out. So today my company has 2 branches. One branch concentrates on getting people out of anxiety, depression. This is a longer process between 3 to 5 months. The other branch concentrates on making sure people don't get there, right? When they feel a little bit angry, anxious, when you have a difficult teenagers, when you have a marriage that you don't know what to do, we can't find the right partner, we direct you exactly to what you want to do. And that takes only about 6 weeks with practical steps. Not talking, because no amount of talking ever solved a problem. So we're trying here to avoid and prevent people from mastering the game of suffering.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And over the last 2 years, you helped just over 800 families, really with the subject that we're talking about today. Uh, Tell us some of your amazing success stories.
So there are many amazing success stories. So if a family is ignoring, for example, anxiety and depression, they will know that through a child that comes up to be extremely difficult, maybe even suicidal, right? And we were conditioned sometimes to think that pain is normal, right? That life is suffering, that life is hard, that life is complicated. And we keep going like warriors, that we always fight with life, like we'll bulldozer around. And this is exactly why these kids come today, and they don't want to live like this. My youngest customer was 6 years old. A 6-year-old child who was talking about death, about since the age of 4, by the way, who was talking about not wanting to live, him being stupid and a jerk. These are words that he put on himself, right? And he didn't even knew what these words meant. To find out that actually his depression was triggered 3-4 generations ago, he was just a sign that somebody has to make a step out of a situation. Most people think that depression is genetic. Depression is generational. What does that mean? Every generation can stop it. So you cannot blame it on genetics. I particularly have genetic genes that give you depression. You can put those to sleep when you change everything. You can actually do that, right? But if you continue to play the game of suffering, of the game of life, you're going to end up stranded in another cycle of pain.
I like that. I like that. So let's dive deep, Anna, into the steps that any business owner in our audience listening today, maybe they're failing dismally, be it in family, be it in business, but they know that there is a way out, but they just don't know where to get started. If you were to talk to them, I particularly want to refer to James, who's listening in the audience. What will be the very first step they need to take or need to master in their journey to mastering this life?
You need to master the relationship in your family. This is the truth. I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner too, right? When you feel drained, exhausted, tired, maybe you have a spouse with a little bit of depression or anxiety, maybe you have a kid angry or stressed out, right? When you come home and you have to deal with all these family problems, you're not going to be able to concentrate on your business, to be focused, to be productive, to come with new ideas, to have a drive of trying new things, right? And most people think, oh, my work is exhausting. No, if you can fill yourself up with love and light in your family, in your home, you will never, ever, ever be tired. And trust me, I've been through that process, and I take people through that process all the time. So the first thing we do is we concentrate at the family level. Who is angry? Who is exhausted? Who is anxious? And we don't do stress management or anger management because let's face it, who wants to manage stress and anger? You want to get rid of them, to never have to manage them, because managing these are full-time jobs, right, for people. So we transform difficult teenagers in 6 weeks. We get rid of anything that has anxiety or depression. We rebuild marriages because some of them they change their patterns and they don't know where to go and how to do it. So we make sure that the family is number one thing, and it's perfect. Everything runs like clock out there, and each entrepreneur and business owner now, they can concentrate in ideas, making money, visions, things that you need in your business.
Incredible. So get the family right. In your, I know you've touched on this already, that this is an important step, but are there any reasons why this is that important?
Yes, there are reasons, because we never realized that at puberty, between puberty and the age of 25, there are transformations in the family system. If I ask my clients in depression, right, what is the reason of their depression? They always say 100% their parents.
Right.
From puberty until the age of 25, the teenager feels misunderstood. And from there, everything goes down the drain. If that teenager doesn't know how to build relationships with the people around them, including family, including friends, including the world, they will feel always attacked by the world. They will try to get within. They will get angry and anxious. They will end up with social anxiety. And later on, you call these people toxic, but they're not toxic. They're people in pain. They don't know how to manage relationships, right? So that click of family between puberty and 25 is extremely important. You give the child all the tools they need, they will be an extraordinary adult. And I have kids, including my own child at the age of 8.5, 9, I got him out of depression. Now he is on conferences, business conferences, attending at the age of 14.5, next to JT Fox that you have mentioned before, right? So things like this, the teenager explodes in possibilities, in performance. Why? They know they don't have to suffer. This is the only thing that teenagers and young adults need to know. They can be happy, and this is it. They have no limits after that.
I like that. Yeah, I absolutely like that. Excellent. Let's explore for a moment, Anna. What is the best way for adults to take this very important step?
The best way for adults to take this important step is, don't assume that a child is not suffering just because they have no reason to suffer, right? So I hear all the time from parents, my child has everything, has food, has place to go, has video games, has everything. Why do they suffer? In the cycle of life, children, adults, families, everybody, they go through 4 steps. For easy consumption, I'm gonna call these the water level, the fire level, the air level, and the earth level. The children are usually at the water level, at the creativity level, and they need to go to the fire, which is their drive, their puberty, their force of life, and then they have to go up towards the air where they find their identity. A lot of times at those 2 levels, water and fire, they feel a lot of pain. Sometimes generational pain, emotional pain, and the parent assumes that they have no reason to feel pain. The moment this happens, the child loses trust in you as a parent. They don't trust you anymore. They don't believe you anymore. Everything you say is nullified, right? And they become disobedient, and they consider you stupid and all of that. So at that level, what they need is skills of life. Simple formulas of how to make life easier. If you know how to train them at that point, you will have not only an extraordinary teenager, young adult, you will have a person who will never be prey to narcissists, to verbally abusive people, to divorces, to anything, because you give them the tools to master their own game of life, which sometimes is different from the parent game of life.
This is very informative. Awesome. For business owners perhaps who are struggling with mastering relations at home, Anna, any tips on how they can do that before we move on to the next stage of in the system?
So a lot of times I hear from entrepreneur and business people, my wife, my spouse, my children, they don't understand me. And they don't understand you because you don't know how to communicate properly with them. And yes, you might be in entrepreneurial energy and they might be into a different energy. That's why the first thing we master is these 4 steps that I'm mentioning, right? To both of the levels to understand each other, right?
Right.
And a lot of entrepreneurs presume that, my spouse is not going to listen to me, or they're not going to listen to anybody, and they just want to be annoying against me. And that I found out it is not true. Each member of a family wants to make it work. Each member of a family wants to find love and light within that nucleus of family. They just don't know how, and sometimes they need guidance, and this is what I provide.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. If you're just joining us, we are talking about how to master the game of life, and we're glad you're here. If you've got any questions, head over to our site and send them. We'll have Ana as well perhaps answer some of the questions, or just shoot us an email and we'll be able to help you. So we have covered here that if you want to master your game, especially if you're an entrepreneur, establish good relations in your family. We're moving on to the next step that you need. If you're taking notes, that you may want to write down. What will be the next step, Ana, using our system here that they need to master?
So relationship is very, very important. And those are like 7 steps in itself, right? So the way that I teach this is, number 1, misconceptions about relationships, about what true love is. True love, I use the acronym of TRUE for trust, respect, understanding, and evolving. Okay, true, TRUE. Evolving, that means that you always are evolving within these 4 pillars that I mentioned: water, fire, air, and earth. The ones that are not evolving, that are staying into the same pillars, are the one who will suffer the most in their lifetime. The game of life is mastering all 4 pillars. And a lot of times you have 2 of them, and you are looking for your spouse to have the other 2. And then the child is very different, can be a different one, right? And then it comes misconceptions. And this is when I teach the 4 men and women archetypes. There are 4 types of men and 4 types of women in the world. But most people think they're all unique and different, which is not true. I'm sorry to tell you, I am one of the 4, so are you. Right? So each one of these 4, they think differently. Each one has a different way of loving. For example, my archetype is considered extremely cold and without feelings. That doesn't mean I have no feelings or I'm cold. That only means that I know how to manage them better than other people, right? They have different ways of loving, different ways of communicating, different values in life. If you don't understand that the person next to you has different values than you do, then you're going to get confused. For example, an entrepreneur value is vision, is business, is making money. If somebody wants to keep them home all the time, stranded to play soccer with the kids, those people will get depressed. They don't know how to run, right? So you can't do this. And we have a lot of specifically men clients who are entrepreneurial, business-like, and their women is like, just stay next to me. To do what? Just to watch a movie. Okay, 2 hours after that, I gotta go. You just can't keep these people. They feel like in a jail when you keep them stranded somewhere, right? So these things you need to know that each one has different values in life. They think different, they communicate different, they want different things. And this is the most amazing thing in the world, because if we all would be the same, it would be extremely boring, right? But men and women are not so different. They're just 4 types of men and 4 types of women. And if you understand how this whole game works, how this dynamic works, how to dance, there is no more problems. You teach it once and you know it for a lifetime.
You know what? I'm very intrigued. I would love to have you back here and talk about these four different types of women and four types of men, because I think business owners would absolutely love to hear that in a segment of its own, really. So to focus on that, which will be great. So master the relationship. All the misconceptions. We talked about truth. I don't know if we covered what the T stands for.
But T stands for trust,
Trust.
R for respect, U for understanding, and E for evolving. You see, in the game of life, women always presume that their men will change, and men always presume that the women will never change. So if you started with that misconception from the beginning, you see what the problem is, right?
Right.
Oh, he needs to change. And they're like, my wife changed. She's not the same as 18 years ago. Of course she changed. That was 18 years ago. So, these kind of little things that once you just draw attention to them, about the fact that you think in a different way, they think in a different way, but doesn't mean that you cannot combine and get to a middle, right?
Right.
So just to give you an example, right before we got on a show, I had an entrepreneur, a businessman, who all he wanted for his wife to get out of depression and to go and get a job so she can see people, because she's never seen anybody except a dog and a kid in the house for the last 7 years. And I agreed. I'm like, yeah, she needs to go and see how other people think and talk, and not to be locked up in the house nonstop. She didn't want to get a job in any way, shape, or form. She doesn't even want to get out of the house. So I knew she was right next to him, and I told him, and he was on a speakerphone with me, and I told him, listen, if you play this game of always providing and practically raising a kid also in depression, because this is what you're doing, both of you right now, you are the stupid one. I apologize after that when she was not there, right? But when she heard that I'm calling her husband stupid, she actually left in 2 hours and went to find a job. I had to just push her out of her comfort zone of all the time sitting for the last 10 years at home and raising a depressed child, to understand that, yeah, I need to go, not necessarily to get a job for money because he makes a ton of money, just to see people, to talk to people, to not be restrained between the bedroom and the kitchen. Right? Of course, after that, I apologize. Man, I never meant it's like, I know, because we're on the same air energy, right? We're trying to push her out. Some people understand this and some people do not, right? They need to be pushed because comfort zone is something we all like.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Wonderful. Once again, thanks for joining us. If you are here for the first time and you're enjoying the conversation, please join in. Send us your questions or your email, either in an email or just go straight to one of our platforms. Would love to help you there for sure. Let's dive in, because of our time here, and talk about the final step that anybody who wants to master their life, master their business, ought to take account of or get to know and implement in their business. What would that be, that third step, Anna?
Emotional balance. So this is why we're starting at the family level, because it's where you also learn emotional balance, right? So here is not to manage anger, manage stress. It's none of that.
Right.
Use practical ways for emotional balance. There are 3 emotions that everybody has in the world, because we're all humans and we're not, probably the animals have it too, right? Worry, anger, and fear. Okay. And how do you manage each one is very important. Worry. You need to understand the number 1 rule of worry. No amount of worry has ever solved the problem.
Indeed.
Okay. Which means you can think about it for 3 weeks, or you can do it in 30 seconds. And then, if you made a mistake, you have 3 weeks to fix it.
That's right.
Right? Okay. Anger. You use that anger as your fuel of life. Every time when you're angry at somebody else, at whatever happens to you, and we have people angry at political parties and religions and everything else, you take it inside and you say two things. Can I fix it? Yes or no? If yes, go fix it. If no, drop it. Use that fuel, that fire. Use it as your fuel of life. It's the way I compare this is like you go to it's like the fuel that you put in a car, right? So you need gas in the car to go somewhere. If you go to the gas station and you put gas all around the car, you're probably going to set yourself on fire. So put the gas in the car. Use that anger as your fuel of life. And fear. The last one is fear. You have to do it anyway. Whatever you're afraid of, your potential is on the other side of fear. And I'm talking about, I was afraid to push buttons. This is how depressed I was. I was afraid to push buttons on the computer. So I know what fear is. I'm not talking about somebody that, was outgoing on public stages, from the beginning, right? So it is exactly your potential, your purpose in life is at the other side of fear. And you also have to do it 3 times. You don't have to do it only once or twice, because it's easier to go back into that fear mode. Do it 3 times. Whatever you're afraid of, just go do it 3 times, and that's it. The next thing you're afraid of, go do it 3 times. Never stop, because that's where money is, potential is, focus is. That's what everything you want in life is on the other side of fear.
Indeed. I can testify that, you do it 3 times, you'll be over it. Anna, last year I did an exercise, what I call the rejection exercise. I had a guest on our show, and who introduced me to this rejection exercise. We were talking, and he said, one of the reasons why people don't go after their dreams and truly live the life they want to is because of fear of rejection. So he created this idea that, if, every month, he would do something that he know that people will reject him, but he just do it anyway. So I thought that's an interesting thought, and I thought I'm going to practice it. So I told him, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, find something that I know I'm very afraid of, and I know I'm likely going to be rejected, and I'm going to do it anyway. So
there are 5 emotional wounds that put people in depression, and one of them is rejection.
Yes, indeed. As an example, let's just finish that story there. I went for a walk, and then I saw, at someone's yard there was a ping pong table. I thought, I'm going to ask to play a ping pong with somebody from that house. So I went and knocked at the door, and I said, "Hey," so a lady came to the door, and I said, "Hi, would you like to play ping pong with me?" So she opened the door. She said, "What?" And I said, "Would you like to play? I saw you've got a ping pong table here. Can I play with you?" Then she said, "Hang on a minute." So she called the husband, and then the husband came and said, "What did you say?" And I said, "Can I play a ping pong with you?" He said, "I don't understand." I said, "I saw you have a ping pong table out here. I was wondering if I could play it with you." They closed the door, mumbled between the two of them, and then they called a boy who came out and said, "Oh, my dad said you want to play ping pong." And I said, "Yes, I want to play ping pong." So I ended up playing the ping pong game on there. But you know what? I was shaking inside, you can imagine. I did that exercise, the rejection exercise, 3-4 times. But now, at first I was so much afraid. Now, if I feel afraid or feel like I'm going to be rejected, it's a fuel to go and get it done, because I've done it before. I know I'll be able to withstand the pressure. So, I totally agree with what you just said there, that do it 3 times and you get over it.
And fear is number one thing that stops entrepreneurs from scaling.
Yes.
from scaling their business, from going and sell another product, right? So number one thing that stops businesses from growing is fear.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. Anna, you've been wonderful. Before we end our time here together, I know you've got some great resources that some people would love to get access to. Would you share with our audience here where they can find those resources or connect with you?
Yes, so the easiest way to contact me is through the website betteraskana with one n.com. So betteraskana with one n.com. There we have 2 free classes for parents with difficult teenagers and for people looking for healthy relationships. These are free classes that we have available. We also have a system where you can ask me one question and I can give you the answer for free in a couple of weeks. And a lot of questions we have is about, should I leave my husband, or should I leave my wife, or should I do this, or should I do that? So these kind of questions that can destroy your life if you don't know the right answer. Right? If you take the wrong turn, right, you're just messing up your life. So this is why we have that free system, right? And in case that or somebody in your audience believes that they are in some kind of depression or anxiety, we have 2 courses for free for parents with depressed children and for adults depressed. These are free courses of about an hour and 20 minutes where I give you the exact map of how to overcome depression. And when I say overcome depression, we're talking about 3 to 5 months of overcoming depression and 6 weeks in transforming a difficult teenager. Why? Because we are entrepreneurs and we want everything faster, better, and more efficient. We don't want to go to therapy for 12 years and solve nothing, right? So this is why we put all these resources together on that website, betteraskana with one n.com, because I don't want you to babysit you forever. I want you to get it, learn the skills, master the game of life, and be happy forever.
Absolutely love that. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking to master the game of life, Ana Lennyr has the answers for you. We want you to get the right help, the right skill, and also for you to reach your goals. Go to Anna's website. We will put that website below this recording so that you can access it easily. Again, thank you so much for taking time to listen in. And if you know anybody who can benefit from listening to this conversation, please direct them to our site or just send them this audio so that they too can learn and improve their lives. We want everybody to succeed because at the same time that sinks the boat is the same side that it elevate others. The same knowledge. When everything is happening, you too can succeed. Anna, once again, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Awesome. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, live well, live with passion, and know that the best is truly yet to come. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.